The SA National Civic Organisation has criticised the Constitutional Court's ruling on Jacob Zuma's prison sentence. On Thursday, the Apex Court upheld the decision by the Supreme Court of Appeal and the Pretoria High Court, which found that Zuma's medical parole and pardon was unlawful. According to reports, Zuma is currently receiving medical treatment now overseas. SANCO says the former president is being treated unfairly by the justice system. The organization's KZN secretary is Sizwe, who joins us now for more on the organization's thoughts. It's great to have you on the program, sir. Thanks for your time. As a start, can I just get clarity on this? Is the former president still the provincial convener of SANCO?
Greetings and greetings to your viewers. Thanks for this opportunity. Indeed, the former president of the country is still the provincial convener of SANCO KZN.
All right. With that in mind, help us understand why you reckon the justice system is being unfair to him.
Yes, indeed, SANCO in KwaZulu-Natal strongly believe that Lady Justice removes the blindfold each time President Zuma is before the court. It seems as if there is a special law for Jacob Zuma, because each time they have to make out a judgment, they will come up with things which are not assisting in terms of developing this country as prescribed by the constitution of the country, particularly the preamble, because we, as the people of this country, are the ones which give the Constitution the power that is God's, because we believe that it needs to advance our life and take into consideration the interest of the people. The fact that President Jacob Zuma in 2021 went into prison, even though there was no trial, Jacob Zuma is the only person in this country after 1994 who went to prison without trial. The same way the apartheid regime used to operate.
All right, but to be fair, the Constitutional Court had explained why it had taken that very unique position. And you're right, it was unprecedented, and the Apex Court at the time was at pains to explain why. The former president was given a lot of opportunities to make representation to the Apex Court. Instead of responding even to the court itself, he decided to make public statements saying that he won't respond. In fact, I think he went to a point at some stage of challenging the courts to send him to jail. Now that that's happened, it's interesting to find people who are suddenly crying foul about that.
Yes. You see, the fact that you are saying they took that very unique decision, then there's been a myriad of unique decisions which have been taken against him. You know, I don't want to go into those details, but at least I'm trying to quantify instances where unique or peculiar decisions were taken against President Jacob Zuma. Even in 2021, when he went to prison, there had been a United Nations advice which was announced by the Minister of Correctional Services that because we were living under a heightened Delta variant of COVID-19, which was deadly, and they were worried about overcrowding in prisons. So there was a period when hardened criminals were being whisked away from prisons because of the fear of their life, that they might die in prison. In fact, they had even announced serious numbers of people who had died in prison, including the prison officials. And Jacob Zuma, with all his comorbidities, at that very same time, he was taken into prison. And the thing now, which really makes us to be so livid with this constitutional court judgment upholding the Supreme Court of Appeal's judgment of taking Jacob Zuma back into prison. We are saying Jacob Zuma is part of all of that. He subjected himself to the law. He respected the law.
When?
He went to in 2021 because of that contempt of Constitutional Court decision. He went to prison. He subjected himself to the law. But then the government official, in the form of the National Commissioner, used whatever powers which at that time believed that were available to him to decide to give Jacob Zuma parole on the basis of his ill health.
Mr. Karen, let's be fair. Let's be fair. If we're going to have if we're going to have a productive conversation, we shouldn't be selective. The reason why the former president ended up in jail is because he was found to be in contempt of court after the Constitutional Court made several appeals to him to at least make representations. So when we say that he is a man that really respects the law, people will be asking, at which point really? Because the only reason why we got to the point where he was being arrested was because he was seen as a man who disregarded the rule of law, actually.
Okay, I didn't want you to respond to that one, but this is how we understand it to be the law to be working. If he was in contempt of the Constitutional Court, they were supposed to arrest him to force him to go appear to the court. That's how the South African law works. If you are in contempt of the court, they don't just take you into prison and then make out a sentence for you. They arrest you, you go to prison, you wait for the trial, then the trial date comes up and they take you to the court from the prison. That never happened to Jacob Zuma. There was a sentence which many law experts believe that it was not the normal sentence for the contempt of court. So this is the issue. But I wanted to move on to get to the current situation because, of course, that is water down the bridge. That's why I did not want to pay too much attention to what has already happened, which we cannot change. Because we are worried now about the chances of him going back to prison, knowing fully well that what happened to the people of KwaZulu-Natal and some people in Gauteng when President Zuma went to prison. Because, of course, as you said, some unique decisions get meted out against President Zuma. People do not have money like your AfriForum, DA, and Helen Suzman foundations, who are the ones who are instigating all these challenges against President Zuma. Of course, you can see that the issue is more than what meets the eye. So that's why they took to the street. More than 300 people died in 2021 because of this very reckless decision. And today, as SANCO, the mouthpiece of the people, poorest of the poor, who do not have money as the apartheid beneficiaries like DA, Helen Suzman Foundation, and the AfriForum to afford the South African law, which is so expensive. We are worried. We believe that we must come out and be the voice of the people and say to everyone concerned, to say these decisions that the Constitutional Court is upholding are putting the lives of the people in danger.
Right.
We do not want it to be a repeat of what happened in July 2021.
Absolutely. Nobody wants that at all. And I'm sure as the voice of the people, you're interested in also ensuring that you spend as much time as emphasizing the importance of the rule of law. And I think one doesn't cancel out the other. So let me be very explicit about that. There could be whatever reflections you have about the rulings pertaining to the former president, but surely it's equally as important to emphasize the need to respond to the Constitutional Court as an example when it asks you to make representations. At the very least, because of the position that you hold, because of who you are in society, but because of the integrity of the law itself.
Let me make you a simple example that why Zuma did not want to appear in the Constitutional Court. He had made a statement that Judge Raymond Zondo must recuse himself from being the chairperson of the commission because they have a history together, which Judge Raymond Zondo denied. But during his interview in front of the JSE, he did admit that him and Zuma go way back and they've got long history together. But no one then took that into cognizance to say how. But just now, you were denying your relationship with Zuma. And it was clear that Judge Zondo was manipulating and abusing the constitutional court and the justice system because, of course, he's got access to it. So now that's why it is causing us to be frustrated now, to say this is the situation as the people of this country have to deal with. Okay. So even as I'm saying to you, we do not have a financial means to then challenge Justice Zondo on what he said, because he's the president of the Constitutional Court as we speak.
All right. So, I think your point is well made, sir. Thanks very much indeed for your time. Sizwe Cele is the KZN Secretary of SANCO, speaking there on the SANCO provincial convener, former President Jacob Zuma, and the controversy around his medical parole.